Tackle our Unit 3, Day 2 homework prep. At the top, if you would write down your learning objective, define an unknown variable, translate English into a mathematical equation, and then solve a two-step equation. Remember that I told you guys that y'all would not have to copy down the word problems as we go through these, and I mean that, but I also would like you guys to copy down this template. So this is how I want you guys to answer each one of these word problems. We'll define our variable first in the top box, and in the bottom box we'll set up an equation and then eventually solve it in the way that we know how. Okay, top left-hand corner. Remember, don't copy down the problem. Let's just dissect it together. Okay, and all these problems, the first thing I want you to look for is the variable. In other words, look for what the problem is asking for. So then I want you to either look for a question mark or find the word find. Okay, so in this instance, here we find the question mark. There it is. And it's asking me in that sentence, what is the number? The number is the variable. So what we got to figure out is, what do we want to call that number? Well, you can go with Old Faithful, X. That always works. Number starts with N, so that wouldn't be a bad one. I'm just going to go with X. I feel comfortable with that. So X is the number. There's our definition. Okay, next, let's begin to set up our equation by translating that English sentence into a mathematical equation. Okay, it starts with 2. 2 more than. All right, so 2 more than. Well, more than implies that we're going to use plus. So 2 plus. Now, what you have to remember about plus also is that it's commutative. And what that means is that the order doesn't matter. So for instance, let's say I have like 3 plus 4 and 4 plus 3. The order doesn't matter on those expressions because when you add those together, you're going to get 7 both ways. So I'm going to go ahead and start my equation down here with 2 plus. Okay. Then it says 2 more than 5 times a number. All right, well, 5 times we know is multiplication. And then this a number business is what we actually defined at the beginning. We're talking about X. Then it says is. All right, well, is just means equals. So we're saying that 2 plus 5X equals 77. 2 more than 5 times a number is 77. Okay, so from this point here, we want to solve for X. So here's where you guys remember, we'll use all the things that we talked about with our framework here. Use your vertical line to separate the two sides of the equation. Make sure you use your horizontal action bars to say, hey, look, Mr. Goethals, I'm performing an action or an operation on both sides of the equation. Let's do that. Vertical line bar. The first thing we need to do as we go through our order of operations backwards is to begin to add or subtract away things first. So I'm going to get rid of this positive 2 over here on both sides. Look, Mr. Goethals, I am performing an operation on both sides. What I have left over is 5X equals 75. Next, I'm going to divide that 5 away. Performed another action there. And what we're going to get at the end is X equal to 15. Okay, so that means that number is 15. All right, top right-hand corner. Let's start with this problem. Mr. Mustard said, 8 less than 3 times my age is 100. Find Mr. Mustard's age. Okay, so remember, we're going to define our variable first. So we're looking for a question mark, or we're trying to find the word find. Well, I just found the word find. It's right here. What is it asking me to find? Mr. Mustard's age. Okay, so let's come up with a variable here that will represent that. I like A for age. So I'll say A is Mr. Mustard's age. When in doubt, you guys, be specific on your definitions. Okay. Now, every time we talk about Mr. Mustard's age, we're going to use A. All right, so let's go back up to the top and let's translate that English sentence into a mathematical equation. All right, so it says 8 less than. All right, so there's 8, and we know that that less than means subtraction, right? We're going to take it away. But we're going to pause just a moment. If you think back to the other problem, the first problem, we talked about plus being commutative, meaning that the order wouldn't matter. But subtraction is not commutative. So for instance, let's say I had, 10 minus 8 and 8 minus 10. We're not going to get the same answer there. One's going to be 2, one's going to be negative 2. So here the order does matter. So to figure out which way we should write this, let me give you kind of a little mental exercise. You guys are all pretty much 14 years old. So if I was to ask you guys to find the age of someone who was 8 years less than you, if you guys thought about it for a moment, y'all would say what? Okay. Hopefully you would say 6. Okay, so in your brain, even though I said it like this, 8 less than 14, in your brain you guys didn't do that. Y'all knew to take away 8 from 14 to get your 6. Okay, so I'm going to ask you guys to do the same thing here. When I say 8 less than something, we just got to figure out what the something is first, and then we're going to take 8 away from it. So what I'm going to think about this is this. I'm going to go ahead and know that I'm going to subtract 8 from something. I'm just going to figure out what the something is first, and then I'm going to take 8 away from it. All right, so let's figure out what the something is. It says that I'm going to take away 8 here from 3 times my age. All right, well, 3 times means 3 times multiplication. This my age business is referring to Mr. Mustard's age, so that's going to be 3 times A. So there's the something that we're going to take 8 away from. So as I begin to translate my equation here, 3 times A, take away 8. The last part of the sentence says is 100, so equals 100. All right, now let's pause here and let's read this back. This says 8 less than, so minus 8, 3 times my age, 3A, is equals 100. All right, now let's begin to solve it. Okay. Vertical line here. I'm going to be able to add or subtract away things first. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that minus 8 by adding an 8 on both sides. Action bar. Okay. Now I need to divide away that 3. What we end up with is A is equal to 36. Now you'll notice that Mr. Mustard's age is 36, which means he actually is at what the experts would call a perfect age, where he would still have all of his physical and mental capabilities. You could say that he's still in his prime, even though he may be short and or bald. Okay, next problem. Bottom left. Okay. You are a salesperson for Acme Toys. Every day you earn $30 plus 2 nights of your sales. Oh boy, 2 nights, a fraction. We can handle it. What dollar amount of sales do you need today to earn $100? Okay, let's find that question mark or find the word find. Okay, there is the question mark. So go back, it says what dollar amount of sales. That's what it's asking us for. That is our variable. So as I go down to copy this down, it's almost kind of like a cut and paste function that you would have on like Microsoft Word. What letter should I use here? There's many letters that'll work. Sometimes I just feel comfortable with X and just say that X is the dollar amount of sales. Okay, and of course we're going to need enough to earn $100. Okay, let's begin to translate this guy. It says every day you earn $30 plus, okay, well that's 30, plus 2 nights of your sales. Okay, well we know that 2 nights looks like a fraction. It's 2 over 9. This of your sales business. Okay, well you guys probably remember from years past, when y'all see of, what operation do you think of? If you said multiplication, you're right. So it's thinking about multiplying this times the sales. Okay, well, that's our variable x. Okay, so we have 30 plus 2/9 of x. So let's copy that down. 30 plus 2/9 of our sales should be 100. Okay? All right. There's our setup. Now let's solve. Vertical. Subtraction. Action. Okay. Here I've got 2/9 x. Just like the two problems above, I want to divide this away. But you'll remember from what we talked about in class, here when I'm dividing 2/9, I'm not going to be shy. That's right, I'm going to flip the second and multiply. So divide away 2/9 is the same thing as multiplying by 9/2. Okay. All right. Remember that we can put that 70 over 1. And we end up with 630 on top over 1 times 2. That can be reduced. What it ends up being is 315. Okay. So if you make $30 plus 2/9 of your sales, you'd have to sell $315 worth of sales in order to make $100. All right, last problem. Bottom right-hand corner. A banana has 90 calories. This is 5 calories less than 1/7 of the calories in a banana split. How many calories are in a banana split? All right, take a moment to pause the video and write down what you think the variable is. And then here in a moment we'll compare. Go. All right, I find the question mark. I go back and it says how many calories are in a banana split. All right, so right here, how many calories is what it's asking for. Okay. When y'all see the words how many, what they're asking for is a quantity. They're talking about a number. So when I put down my variable here, I'll just go with x again, but it's okay if you used a different letter. I'm going to say that x is the number of calories. Number of calories. All right. Now take a moment and set up your equation. Push the pause button. Go ahead and set it up, and then let's compare what we have. Go. All right, it says that a banana has 90 calories. And then it says this is. Okay, so this right here is referring to that 90. So 90 is 90 equals 5 calories less than. So less than is talking about subtraction. But remember, we're going to think about that. We're going to say, okay, we're not going to say 5 minus something. We're going to say 5 less than. We're going to take away 5 from something. Let's just figure out what that something is. It says 1/7 of the calories. Okay, so 1/7, we're talking about calories. I just called it x. So 1/7 of x. 1/7 times x. Okay, so there's our something. 1/7 x. We want 5 less than that. And that should be 90. Okay. So if we solve this equation, what we're solving for is the number of calories in the entire banana split, which I'm guessing is probably not going to be a small number. All right, here we go. Vertical bar, performing an action. All right, I'm going to divide away that 1/7. I'm not going to be shy. I'm going to flip it and multiply. So dividing away by 1/7 is the same as multiplying by 7 over 1. And I'm sure some of you are screaming at me right now that that's just 7. So calm down. All right. When I do 7 over 1 times 95, carry the 3, check my math. I'm pretty sure that that is 665 calories in a banana split. So maybe run in place while you're eating it. All right, hopefully you guys, this helps out so that you guys can do these on your own when you end up back in class on Tuesday and Wednesday. Before I sign off, I want to send a shout out to my 4th period for keeping it real. And I look forward to seeing all you guys soon. Take care.